Hi friends, it's night 8 of the Spring Goddess Puja, and 8, 9, 10 is going to be our total number this year. So we're coming into sort of a home stretch. We've been through a string of very wrathful ladies, and we're going to emerge into a very different archetype this evening, although do not let her more slightly peaceful appearance fool you. She is an extremely wrathful lady. She carries a club. Her name is Baglamukhi. And there's a couple interpretations of her name. Sometimes Bagala, the focus is the face and head of a crane, or Vagala, meaning the bit in a horse's mouth. She's a lady of control. You see her controlling this demonic type character down here. And then she is just the queen, sitting upon her lion throne, placid. She is granting many blessings, many boons, but she's no nonsense. She's carrying a club. Yes, I love it. So she's the golden goddess. Everything about her is yellow. Everything about her is gold. And when we look at the various spiritual traditions in South Asia, we see this yellow saffron color. It's very popular, representing Kriya stage practice, restraint practices. That's the heart of her meaning. She is the power of restraint. And what happens afterwards when you learn how to restrain, well, all sorts of things, but especially greed, anger, lust, speech, things to do with speech, just silly speech, gossip, harmful words. In this image, you can see she's holding this demonic creature by the tongue. And she's very dynamic. Like, she's got this club above her head and she's ready to strike. I feel like the iconography here is quite reminiscent of the stories of Devi in the Devi Mahatmya. The slaying of demons, the demons' representations of aspects of our ego, our lower natures, and all these fun weapons in the tantras, and how the ego gets pummeled and chopped and hooked and dragged around and all the things. So again, it's not everybody's flavor, but it is definitely mine. I'm totally into it. When we can get into restrainment, we can start to access willpower. So Baglamukhi is a very popular goddess throughout India nowadays because she grants boons, blessings. Don't think that if a goddess is granting a boon that there's not something that has to happen in return. Yeah, you have to surrender your tongue. You have to surrender your ego. She grants the control of the Pancha Vayu, the 5 vital life force flows in the body. She also grants the 8 siddhis, these 8 outcomes. Some of those include things like mesmerization, the ability to control weather, things with vak, with speech, where what you say will happen. You definitely need to be very careful if you have that siddhi. The ability to move matter, to bring things back to life. The Ashta Siddhis, the 8 Siddhis, is a whole thing. And again, this comes up when we look at the 9 forms of Durga as well. So I'm just feeling a lot of synergy with Devi, Durga, Baglamukhi. She's her own woman, and she is a very important team member in the Dasha Mahavidyas, the 10 wisdom mothers. Her practice is patient observation. Her effect is the silencing of the mind so that we can see ourselves with this. So this is practice. This is embodied practice. This is tapasya, steadfastness. And you can see just this delicious golden characteristic in her yantra. So just sharing a little bit on this yantra. So the Bupur, representing the earthing of this yantra, is mauve or maroon with a mixture of chrome yellow. This is the color of fear. It produces dark green in the body, which removes fear and hatred. The 8-petaled lotus of the manifested eightfold Prakriti symbolizes the 5 elements and the 3 gunas, tamas, rajas, and sattva. The color of the petals is saffron, another shade of yellow, as in Bhuvaneshwari's yantra. The hexagram, made of 2 equilateral triangles overlapping each other, is the color of the goddess herself. The color yellow produces the violet, explained in reference to the Bupur of Bhuvaneshwari. So the result, so inside the mind, you gaze at the yantra, and what produces in reverse in the mind is violet, which is extremely pacifying for the mind. The yellow bindu at the center. Let me go back just a little bit. But so that same downward pointing triangle in the hexagram, the same color as the Bupur, represents the goddess in her paralyzing, stupefying power. The yellow bindu in the center of the triangle is the goddess Baglamukhi herself. So she is the paralyzing power. She has the capacity to paralyze her enemies. She's on the peaceful team of the Dasha Mahavidyas, and she is dynamic, she is wrathful, she is transformative. She paralyzes her enemies. So many people do Baglamukhi sadhana when they are experiencing the effect on them of the enemy's gaze. She's a warrior queen who sits on the ocean of ambrosia, clad in gold and saffron, and she is guiding us on this involutionary journey through yogic technique, step by step, as we come into the understanding of the dynamics of our own minds. So she initiates the meditative experience, that quiet, the inner silencing that is needed to progress along the path. I hope you've enjoyed this evening's little storytelling. Of course, there's so much more to say about each and every one of these goddesses. We've got 2 more nights of this together, and I'll be sharing an essay tomorrow inspired by Baglamukhi and her teaching, so we can go a little bit deeper and also rest with her. I thank you for watching, for listening, subscribing, supporting, and all the fun things. And I will talk to you tomorrow night.